Part 1. The moment when the soul recognizes itself in another. There's a moment quiet, almost imperceptible. A moment that doesn't come with fireworks or cinematic music or the kind of passion you see in love stories. It's softer, like the stillness that arrives after a long storm, like breathing after holding your breath for lifetimes. And in that moment you see them, not with your eyes, but with your entire being. Something deep within whispers, "There you are. I've been waiting for you." This is the beginning of reunion energy. But let's pause here for a second, because most people think reunion means finally being together again after years apart. They imagine hugs, tears, promises, and a sense of relief that the pain is finally over. Yet true union doesn't start outside, it starts within. It's not two hands touching, but two frequencies remembering how to resonate. Not two bodies meeting, but two souls vibrating in harmony for the first time in eons. The quiet before the union. Before that recognition happens, life often feels like chaos. Your emotions swing between surrender and resistance. You heal, then relapse. You forgive, then rage. You hope, then doubt. Because the universe isn't punishing you. It's preparing your energy field to hold a higher vibration. You see, the soul doesn't fall in love. The soul rises into remembrance. And remembrance requires purification of fear, of ego, of attachment. That's why before the true reunion there is always a separation phase. It's not a punishment. It's an energetic recalibration. You can't unite with another soul in full light until you've faced your own shadows. Think of it like tuning instruments in an orchestra. If one violin is off key even by a fraction, the harmony collapses. The same goes for twin souls. Both must vibrate in truth, not illusion. So when the storms come, when communication breaks, when silence replaces love, when distance stretches longer than you can bear, that's not the end. It's the tuning. It's your soul being polished by pain, so it can shine in union. Recognition beyond the physical. Then something shifts. You may not even expect it. You might be walking down the street, scrolling through your phone, or lost in a thought when suddenly you feel them. Not as nostalgia, not as longing, but as presence. Your heart expands. Time dissolves. And for a brief instant the entire universe feels still. That's when you realize it was never about finding them out there. It was always about remembering them. And here, this recognition isn't physical attraction. It's energetic alignment. Your soul recognizes its mirror. The part of you that was always missing, yet never truly gone. It's like standing in front of a mirror that doesn't reflect your body, but your essence. You see your own light shining through another form. You recognize the patterns, the pain, the growth, the evolution, and you just know. You don't need confirmation. You don't need validation. Because deep down you feel it. This is home. The frequency of homecoming. The energy of true reunion is not intense or chaotic. It's calm, centered, sacred. Feels like homecoming. But home doesn't mean comfort, it means truth. It's the place where masks fall, where illusions dissolve, where both souls stand naked in authenticity. In that vibration you don't chase, you don't prove, you don't negotiate. You simply be. And your being radiates peace. That peace is magnetic. Because peace is the signature of divine alignment. Not fireworks but frequency. Reunion isn't always a movie scene. It's often a quiet moment. A deep eye contact, a shared silence. A synchronicity that defies logic. Maybe it's the way your chest warms when you think of them. Maybe it's the sense of knowing they're near, even without seeing them. The human mind craves stories with grand gestures, but the soul speaks through vibration. When reunion begins, you might not even talk much. Words become unnecessary. There's a sacred telepathy, a gentle current flowing between you. It says, "I understand. I remember. I forgive." And that forgiveness, unspoken, unconditional, is the final key that unlocks the gates of union. When two frequencies merge. To understand this energetically, imagine two sound waves. First, they move independently, sometimes clashing, sometimes harmonizing. But when both reach the same resonance, something miraculous happens. They amplify each other. This is what happens in reunion. Two individual frequencies align, merge, and create a third field. a unified vibration that's greater than both. In that field, healing accelerates, karma dissolves, creativity bursts open. Because this union isn't just romantic, it's cosmic. It's the universe rebalancing itself through love. The truth behind reunion energy. People often ask, how will I know when it's truly union? The answer is simple yet profound. You will feel still. Not excited. Not nervous. Not euphoric. Just deeply, peacefully still. Because your nervous system will finally stop scanning for danger. Your ego will stop defending. Your heart will stop running. Union isn't adrenaline. It's alignment. When your soul recognizes its counterpart, your entire energy system exhales. You no longer feel the need to fight for love because love no longer feels like a battle. Beyond the romantic illusion, it's easy to confuse reunion energy with romantic chemistry, but the two are vastly different. Chemistry is electric. It burns fast. Reunion is magnetic. It sustains. Chemistry is based on attraction. Reunion is based on recognition. One pulls from desire, the other flows from destiny. And when reunion begins, the connection stops being about what can I get from you and becomes what can we create together. This is why many twin souls start new missions after reunion: art, healing, teaching, or awakening others. Because union energy isn't meant to be contained. It's meant to radiate. The sacred stillness. When you reach this point, you'll notice something subtle. Life doesn't become perfect, but it becomes clear. Your mind stops spinning stories. Your body feels lighter. You start trusting divine timing without forcing anything. It's like watching a sunset. Without needing it to last forever, you just appreciate. Because you finally understand, the purpose of reunion was never to complete you. It was to remind you that you were whole all along. And in that realization, you no longer chase, beg, or demand. You just love, freely, abundantly, divinely. The whisper of the soul. When the reunion begins, the universe itself seems to respond differently. The air feels charged, synchronicities multiply, and even your dreams shift in frequency. It's as if existence itself is whispering, welcome back. You've done well. You're ready now. And maybe for the first time you truly believe it. Because reunion isn't about them coming home to you. It's about you coming home to yourself. The energy you used to project outward now circulates within you, creating balance, love, and serenity. And in that vibration, your counterpart naturally returns because they too have found their way home. A moment of stillness. So if you've ever felt this deep calm after chaos, if you've ever looked into someone's eyes and felt time dissolve, if you've ever known without words that something divine is unfolding, you've touched the energy of reunion. Not everyone will understand it. Not everyone is meant to, but you will know. Because when two souls truly recognize each other, there's no confusion left. Only peace. Only light. Only love. Part 2. The invisible preparation before reunion. Before two souls can truly unite, something sacred happens, something no one sees. It's not the moment of reunion itself. That transforms you. It's what happens before it. The invisible work. The silent shedding. The burning away of everything that's not love. And that's what we're diving into today. The hidden stage. That every soul must pass through before reunion energy can truly begin. 1. The cosmic pause. You might think you're waiting for them. But what's really happening is that the universe is waiting for you. There's a reason the two of you aren't in union yet. There's alignment that must take place. Karma that must be cleared. Energies that must be balanced. This stage often feels like a void. Space where nothing makes sense. Communication breaks. Synchronicities slow down. You feel disconnected not just from them but from yourself. But this emptiness is sacred. It's the womb of rebirth. The universe isolates you not to punish you but to prepare you. Because you can't meet your twin flame from the same frequency that broke you apart. You must first remember who you are without them. So that when union happens, you don't lose yourself again. 2. The death of illusion. In this phase, everything you once believed about love begins to crumble. The fairy tales. The chase. The obsession. Your ego screams, I need them. But your soul whispers, I need truth. And truth always destroys illusion. Maybe you thought love meant constant communication. Maybe you thought reunion would heal your loneliness. But this journey teaches you the hardest truth of all. Love doesn't rescue you. It reveals you. So the universe strips away everything that's not real. Old relationships collapse. Friendships drift. Your career might even change. Because your entire frequency is being rewritten. It's not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough in disguise. 3. The mirror effect. During this invisible preparation, your twin isn't gone. They're mirroring you from afar. Whatever you're healing, they're feeling. Whatever you're resisting, they're reflecting. That's why you can sense their emotions even in silence. Because energy has no distance. If you're feeling abandoned, it's a reflection of where you've abandoned yourself. If you're feeling rejected, it's showing you the places you've rejected your own worth. The twin flame journey is the ultimate mirror. And before reunion, that mirror gets clearer, sharper, and more honest than ever. It's confronting. It's uncomfortable. But it's also the moment when your soul finally begins to awaken to its own power. 4. The purification through pain. This is the stage most people want to skip. The crying at 3 a.m. The longing that feels like it could tear your chest apart. The confusion that makes you question if any of it was real. But this pain is sacred alchemy. Each tear you shed is washing away lifetimes of fear. Each heartbreak is breaking open the walls of your heart. You see, pain is not the opposite of love. It's the path to it. Because only through feeling everything can you finally release everything. Imagine a diamond buried under layers of dirt. It doesn't shine until the pressure cleanses it. That's what's happening to you. The pressure of separation is sculpting you into your truest self. And your twin? They're going through the same thing. Even if they hide it. Even if they distract themselves with someone else or something else. Their soul feels the pull. Just like yours. The energy of this connection demands purification. It doesn't allow anything less than authenticity. 5. The ego dissolution. Before union can manifest in the physical, the ego must surrender. Not die completely, just release control. The ego wants guarantees. The soul wants freedom. The ego wants timing. The soul trusts divine order. So the universe tests you. Takes away the illusion of control. It places you in uncertainty. Because faith cannot exist where certainty lives. And as you surrender, you begin to understand that this connection was never about ownership. It was about oneness. You stop chasing. You stop begging for signs. You stop trying to predict when or how they'll come back. Instead, you return your focus inward. That's when real magic begins. Because the moment you stop needing them to complete you, your energy shifts from lack to wholeness. And that wholeness is what calls reunion energy in. 6. The masculine and feminine healing. During this silent preparation, both the divine masculine and divine feminine are being recalibrated. The masculine learns to feel again, to drop his armor, face his fears, and act from love instead of control. He begins to understand that vulnerability is not weakness. It's power. The feminine learns to trust again, to stop overgiving, stop rescuing, and simply receive. She remembers that her softness is not submission. It's strength. These shifts don't happen overnight. They require countless internal battles, moments of surrender, and deep forgiveness of self and of each other. When both energies heal, they stop triggering and start harmonizing. That's when the reunion frequency starts to take shape. 7. The recalibration of energy fields. Energetically, you and your twin are like two electromagnetic fields constantly interacting. When one changes frequency, the other must adapt. That's why, during separation, you might feel sudden mood swings, exhaustion, or waves of intense emotion. Your energy fields are syncing, cleansing, upgrading. This is also why many experience physical sensations, heart palpitations, tingling, ringing in the ears, heat in the chest. It's not imagination. It's energy realignment. Your entire system is learning to hold the vibration of unconditional love. And that's no small thing. It's like trying to fit the ocean inside a teacup. So the universe expands your capacity drop by drop. Each lesson, each heartbreak, each surrender widens your vessel to contain more light. 8. The moment of surrender. Then comes the turning point, the moment where you've cried enough, tried enough, searched enough. You sit down exhausted and whisper, "I can't do this anymore." And in that sacred exhaustion, something profound happens. You let go, not out of despair but out of trust. It's like your soul finally exhales. That's the moment the universe has been waiting for. Because surrender isn't defeat, it's divine alignment. When you stop chasing what's meant for you, it finds you in stillness. Because your energy finally matches peace. And peace is the natural frequency of reunion. 9. The subtle signs of alignment. Once surrender anchors, you begin to notice subtle shifts. You wake up feeling lighter. You no longer check their social media every hour. You find joy in small things again. You start feeling grateful not just for the connection but for the journey itself. This is a sign that your vibration has stabilized. You've moved from obsession to devotion, from attachment to love. And that shift energetically is what begins to magnetize reunion. Because now, instead of vibrating at "I need you," you vibrate at "I am whole." And two wholes attract from abundance, not lack. 10. The silent synchronization. While you're healing, they are too. Maybe in a different way, maybe on a different timeline, but the connection is always communicating beneath the surface. Dreams intensify. Synchronicities return. Numbers, songs, messages that speak only to you. You start feeling their emotions as if they were your own, but now without pain, just quiet understanding. Because both souls are aligning in silence. Like two rivers curving toward the same ocean, even if they flow through different lands. And when that alignment completes, when both energies are balanced, healed, and ready, the universe orchestrates the meeting effortlessly. No forcing, no chasing, just divine timing unfolding. In grace, the preparation is the union. Here's the truth. Reunion doesn't start when you see them again. It starts here. In this silence. In this surrender. In this deep inner transformation. Because the moment you become one with your own soul, you're already in union. The physical meeting that follows is just the mirror catching up to the vibration you've already anchored. So if you're in the waiting, if you're in the void, if you're in the ache that won't let go, know this. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. And the more you trust this process, the faster energy aligns for what's coming. Because the universe never delays love, it refines it. Part 3. When energies begin to resonate, the subtle signs of alignment and magnetic pull. There comes a moment after the silence, when something invisible begins to move again. Not in the physical world, but in the unseen currents of energy that weave between two souls. You wake up one morning and feel different. The heaviness that used to sit in your chest is gone. The ache that once screamed their name now hums softly, peacefully. It's as if your heart is no longer searching, just listening. And in that listening, you begin to feel it. The resonance. The invisible dance between your soul and theirs has begun again. Not as a longing, but as a harmony. 1. The energy that speaks. Before words. Before you ever hear their voice again, you'll feel their presence. Maybe it comes as warmth washing over your skin. Maybe as a song that plays at the exact right time. Or a sudden rush of peace that feels like a hug from nowhere. It's not imagination, it's frequency. Your energy fields are beginning to synchronize again. Just like tuning forks vibrate together when two souls aligned in vibration begin to hum the same silent song. It's subtle, so subtle that the logical mind dismisses it. But the heart knows. It always knows. Because the energy of reunion doesn't announce itself, it whispers. 2. The law of resonance. In the language of energy, resonance is everything. It's not about physical distance or words spoken. It's about frequency matching. When you've done your inner healing, when your energy shifts from fear to faith, from longing to love, you rise into a new vibration. And that new vibration begins to call in everything that matches. It's not manifestation in the simple sense. It's remembrance. Because your twin flame isn't something you attract. They are the part of you that naturally aligns when you return to truth. The moment you embody peace, they start to feel it too. Because you share one energetic blueprint, one field of consciousness. So as you rise, they rise. As you soften, they heal. As you love, the connection breathes again. 3. The return of synchronicities. At this stage, the universe starts speaking louder again. Numbers flash everywhere: 1111, 222, 717. You hear songs that mirror your story word for word. You see their name in unexpected places. It's as if creation itself is winking at you, saying, "It's happening. You're aligning." But unlike before, these signs don't trigger you. They don't send you into obsession. They bring calm recognition. You no longer question if it's real. You know it is, because your energy has matured. You've moved beyond chasing proof and started trusting vibration. 4. The feeling of peaceful presence. In earlier stages, the connection often feels chaotic, intense, heavy, unpredictable. But now it's different. Feels gentle, balanced, stable. You might still feel them, but not as a longing that consumes you, as a quiet knowing that warms you, like sunlight through curtains after a long winter, like a steady heartbeat that no longer races, but assures you, "I'm still here." This is the first sign that reunion energy has begun to anchor, not through action, but through frequency. 5. Emotional synchrony. When two souls start to resonate again, their emotions begin to harmonize. You might suddenly feel waves of love, compassion, or even tears for no reason. That's their heart communicating with yours. You're feeling their healing, their realizations, their longing to make things right. At this point, your connection becomes less about telepathic words and more about energetic empathy. Their growth becomes your peace, and your forgiveness becomes their freedom. You're no longer two people mirroring wounds. You're two souls amplifying healing. 6. The physical and energetic. Symptoms. Energy always expresses itself through the body. As your resonance strengthens, you might notice warm currents in your chest or palms, heart flutters that aren't anxiety but activation, vibrations during meditation or before sleep, random surges of joy or love for no reason at all. These sensations are not crazy. They're real indicators that your nervous system is adjusting to hold higher frequencies, because love, true divine love, is the most powerful vibration in existence. And your human body must learn how to contain it without collapsing under its intensity. So when your chest feels like it's expanding, when you suddenly feel like crying without sadness, it's not breakdown, it's expansion. It's your soul taking up more space in your body. 7. The magnetic pull. At this point, something beautiful happens. The energy that once pushed you apart begins to pull you back together. Not through chasing, not through control, but through magnetism. It's like gravity, quiet, constant, inevitable. No matter how far you drift, the pull always finds you. You might suddenly dream of them vividly. They might appear in your meditations, smiling. Or you might cross paths unexpectedly, in person or online, and it feels fated, because it is. The universe doesn't need your effort to orchestrate reunion. It just needs your surrender. 8. The shift from longing to loving. One of the clearest signs of energetic alignment is the end of longing. You no longer ache for them to return. You love them from a distance that doesn't hurt anymore. This is the frequency of true union. Because union isn't being together. It's being whole together. You've transcended attachment. You don't need them to fill your void because there's no void left. Your love no longer says, "Come back." It says, "I bless you wherever you are." And paradoxically, that's what opens the door for their return. Because love that doesn't cling is love that calls. 9. The shared expansion. When resonance is strong, you'll notice changes not only within yourself, but in your outer reality too. You might be inspired to start creative projects. You feel more connected to your purpose, your intuition, your service to the world. And you'll sense that your twin is experiencing the same. They might suddenly make life changes, ending toxic cycles, pursuing passions, stepping into authenticity. Even if you don't talk, you'll feel it. Because when one rises, both rise. Reunion energy is not just romantic, it's evolutionary. It pushes both souls toward their higher missions. It's the universe saying, now that you've remembered who you are individually, it's time to create together. 10. The calm before the physical. Reunion. As energies fully synchronize, something almost paradoxical happens. You stop waiting. You stop asking when. You stop checking signs. You stop needing reassurance. And that's when it happens. The universe always brings physical alignment when both souls have reached emotional neutrality, the state of peace that says, whether we meet today or in 10 years, love already exists between us. In that vibration, there's no separation left to heal. There's only recognition waiting to manifest, the final whisper. So if you're in this stage, feeling the quiet pull, not knowing why your heart feels full even without contact, trust it. It means the energy is working. It means you've moved from seeking to embodying. It means reunion is no longer a hope, it's a frequency you already hold. Because union isn't something you reach, something you remember. And when two souls remember the same truth at the same time, the entire universe rearranges to bring them home. Part 4. The energy of true union. The homecoming vibration. There are moments in life when time seems to dissolve. When the air feels softer, your breath slower, and everything around you glows with quiet familiarity. That's what it feels like when union truly begins. It's not an explosion. It's not a dramatic movie ending where two souls run toward each other in the rain. It's more like remembering a song you've always known but forgot how to hum, and suddenly it plays again inside your heart. This is the energy of homecoming, the vibration of two souls finally remembering they were never apart. 1. When stillness becomes the language of love. The first thing you notice about real union is the stillness. The chaos that once defined your connection, the emotional roller coasters, the push and pull, the endless what-ifs, they vanish. It's not that everything suddenly becomes perfect. It's that your energy no longer needs perfection. You feel safe. Safe in yourself. Safe in them. Safe in the divine orchestration that brought you here. And that safety creates a new kind of silence. Not emptiness but fullness. Not the silence of distance, but the silence of deep understanding. You can sit together without words. You can go hours, even days without communication, and yet there's no fear. Because you feel it in the calm rhythm of your heart. You've entered the stillness where love simply is. 2. The energetic signature of home. The word home often makes us think of a place. But in spiritual union, home isn't a physical space. It's an energetic frequency. It's that subtle hum in your chest when you're aligned with your soul. It's the feeling that you've finally exhaled after lifetimes of holding your breath. When two twin souls reunite in harmony, their energy fields merge into a single vibration, the vibration of home. Everything feels familiar because it's ancient. Every smile, every glance, every moment together feels like déjà vu because your souls have danced this dance before across ages, across dimensions. You're not meeting again. You're remembering again. 3. The reunion is not fire but light. Many expect union to feel like passion, like fire consuming everything. But fire burns out. True union is light. It doesn't destroy, it illuminates. It reveals truth without pain. It burns ego without smoke. It warms without overwhelming. When you stand near your counterpart, your energy doesn't surge uncontrollably like it once did. It stabilizes. Your nervous system finally relaxes. You no longer mistake adrenaline for love. Because love in its purest form isn't excitement, it's peace. And that peace feels like freedom. 4. The dissolution of duality. In earlier stages, twin souls operate from polarity, chaser and runner, masculine and feminine, light and shadow. Each polarity serves a purpose. It teaches balance. But once union is reached, these roles dissolve. You no longer mirror pain, you amplify growth. You no longer complete each other, you complement each other. It's no longer I and you, but we. The divine masculine no longer hides behind walls of control. He becomes the steady ground where love stands tall. The divine feminine no longer waits in silent longing. She becomes the flow that carries both toward creation. Together, they form a living embodiment of sacred polarity, the dance of structure and surrender, logic and intuition, movement and stillness. In this space, love is no longer about balance, it is the balance. 5. The frequency of co-creation. Once the energy stabilizes, union begins to express itself outwardly. It's no longer about the relationship, it's about purpose. Because twin flames don't unite merely to love each other. They unite to love the world through each other. In this stage, you'll feel an overwhelming urge to create, to bring something new into the world that carries your shared frequency. It might be a project, a business, a book, a community, a work of art. Whatever it is, it will carry the vibration of your union. This is called the mission energy. It's the stage where your love becomes service, where your union becomes a living prayer for humanity. You no longer ask, "What can this love give me?" You begin asking, "What can we give through this love?" That's how union sustains itself, not through passion but through purpose. 6. The healing ripple. The energy of reunion doesn't just transform you, it ripples outward. Your presence together begins to affect others. People around you feel calmer, more open, more compassionate. Even those who don't understand your connection feel something shift when you're near. That's because the vibration of true union carries the frequency of unconditional love. And unconditional love heals by resonance. It reminds every soul it touches of its own wholeness. So your reunion becomes more than a personal story. It becomes a collective healing. A small yet powerful contribution to raising the vibration of humanity itself. 7. The sacred ordinariness. Another sign of true union is its simplicity. You realize that love doesn't need to be dramatic to be divine. You don't need to prove it, post it, or perform it. You simply live it. You cook dinner together. You laugh over small things. You hold hands during quiet walks. And in every mundane moment there's a quiet grace. Because divinity no longer feels distant. It's woven into daily life. Love becomes ordinary. And in that ordinariness lies its sacredness. That's the paradox of reunion. After lifetimes of searching for the extraordinary, you find it in the simplest things. 8. The gentle expansion of the heart. The deeper the union, the softer the energy. Your heart doesn't close to protect itself anymore. It expands effortlessly. You start forgiving faster. You stop taking things personally. You see the divine even in strangers. This is the heart's natural state when it's no longer in survival mode. Because true union doesn't end at your counterpart. It radiates outward. It teaches you to love without boundaries, to serve without expectation, to see unity in diversity. It's not a romantic feeling. It's a spiritual awakening through love. 9. The realization that union is a beginning, not an end. Many think that reunion is the final destination. But in truth, it's just the threshold. Union isn't the happily ever after. It's the now we begin. Because once you unite, life doesn't stop challenging you. It deepens your awareness through new layers of growth. The lessons become collective instead of individual. Now, instead of healing against each other, you learn to heal together. Instead of facing separation, you face expansion. This stage is where your love graduates from personal attachment to universal compassion. It's where you realize that union was never about getting something, it was about becoming something. 2 flames, 1 mission, to illuminate the world. 10. The eternal homecoming. And so the journey comes full circle. After all the pain, separation, lessons, and lifetimes, you've come home. But not home to a person. Home to your own soul. Because union was never about finding them. It was about finding the part of yourself that could finally hold divine love without fear. That's the true homecoming. The moment when your inner and outer worlds finally mirror each other in harmony. You realize that every heartbreak, every silence, every dark night was not punishment. It was preparation. So that when love finally returned, you could meet it not as a seeker, but as a master of your own energy. A whisper from the universe. If you've reached this point in your journey, the universe whispers, "Welcome back. You've remembered who you are. You are love, eternal, infinite, radiant." Union doesn't make you whole. It reminds you that you always were. And from this space of wholeness, every connection, every creation, every breath becomes sacred. Because when 2 souls reunite in truth, they don't just find each other. They awaken the world around them. Part 5. Why union is not the end but the beginning. The new phase of collective awakening. You might think that once reunion happens, the story is over. Two souls finally together after lifetimes apart. What else could there possibly be? But that's where the greatest truth of this journey quietly reveals itself. Union is not the end. It's the beginning of a new frequency, a new way of loving, living, and serving, a new chapter not just for the two of you, but for the entire collective consciousness. Because when twin flames unite, the world shifts, subtly, energetically, profoundly. 1. The myth of the happily ever after. Most stories stop where union begins. They fade out on the kiss, the embrace, the long-awaited reunion. But in reality, that's where the real work starts. Union isn't about the end of searching. It's about the start of embodying. It's not about finally being together, but about living as one vibration in two bodies. The twin flame path isn't a love story. It's a consciousness story. And once you unite, the focus shifts from me and you to we and all. The personal dissolves into the collective. Your love becomes a vessel, an open channel for divine energy to flow through. It's no longer just your story. It's humanity's story, unfolding through you. 2. The purpose behind the reunion. Every twin flame pair carries a specific energetic signature, a divine blueprint. You didn't just meet to love each other. You met to awaken through each other, and through that awakening serve others. The journey through pain, separation, surrender, and union wasn't random. It was training your soul to hold unconditional love in human form, training your heart to stay open even when it's breaking, training your energy to channel divine consciousness into the physical world. Now in union, that training turns into action. Your love becomes a frequency that radiates healing wherever it goes. You begin to magnetize others who are ready to awaken, without preaching, without effort, just by being. 3. The shift from romantic love to divine service. In early stages, love feels personal. It's about chemistry, emotion, and connection. But in divine union, love transcends the personal. It becomes universal. You start to see the world through the eyes of love itself. Every person you meet, every situation you face, every challenge that arises, it's all part of the same sacred dance. You and your counterpart begin to embody the two pillars of divine polarity. Masculine energy, grounding, leading, protecting, manifesting. Feminine energy, nurturing, receiving, creating, flowing. Together, these forces form a living temple of love, one that radiates balance and harmony into the collective field. That's the real purpose of twin flame union. Not to escape into romance, but to anchor heaven on earth. 4. The expansion beyond the self. Before union, your world revolved around healing yourself. After union, your energy expands far beyond your own story. You begin to feel the suffering of others more deeply. You sense collective pain, ancestral wounds, even planetary imbalance. But this sensitivity isn't a burden anymore. It's guidance. It shows you where love is needed most. Because once you've found home within yourself, you can become home for others. You carry the vibration of peace, and that peace begins to ripple outward. Maybe you start teaching, writing, creating, healing. Maybe you simply live in alignment, inspiring others through your authenticity. Whatever form it takes, your union begins to serve. That's the next stage. Collective awakening through individual union. 5. The mirror becomes a window. In earlier phases, your twin was your mirror, reflecting your wounds, fears, and shadows. But after union, that mirror becomes a window. You no longer look at them to see yourself. You look through them to see the divine. Every interaction becomes a meditation in presence. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen compassion. Every moment becomes sacred. You begin to realize that loving them is loving God in human form. And loving yourself is loving God through human experience. This realization marks the end of separation consciousness. There is no you and me anymore, only love witnessing itself. 6. The responsibility of light. With greater union comes greater responsibility, because now your energy affects everything around you. Every emotion you feel, every thought you hold, every intention you set, ripples through the unified field. You become conscious co-creators with the universe. And that's why the universe tested you so deeply before reunion. to ensure you could hold this power without distortion. The more you align with love, the more your energy amplifies. Your manifestation speed increases. Your words carry weight. Your frequency influences others. This is why integrity becomes essential. Union isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. You begin living every day as a walking prayer, knowing that love flows through your choices. 7 challenges after union. Even in union, challenges appear, but they look different. They're no longer about ego battles or attachment fears. They're about expansion pains. As your energy field grows, you'll encounter new layers of shadow, both individually and collectively. Old belief systems might try to resurface. External situations may test your faith. But now, instead of breaking you, these challenges refine you. You meet them with grace, not resistance, because you understand that every trigger is a teacher. Every disruption is an invitation to deepen alignment. And every storm that comes only purifies the sky of your shared energy. 8. The merging of mission energy. After reunion, both souls start to blend their creative essence into one field. It's not forced collaboration. It's natural convergence. Ideas flow effortlessly. Opportunities align miraculously. People and resources appear in perfect timing. Because when two energies operate in divine coherence, manifestation becomes instant. You stop planning from logic and start moving from intuition. Life begins to flow through you instead of around you. This stage is where love becomes leadership, where you become living examples of what healed love looks like. Your energy becomes contagious in the most beautiful way. 9. Anchoring the energy in daily life. Union energy is powerful, but it must be grounded. That's how it becomes sustainable. So, you learn to balance the mystical with the mundane. You pay your bills, do your laundry, make breakfast, while radiating divine consciousness. You realize that spirituality isn't about escaping the human experience, it's about sanctifying it. You practice presence in small things, saying thank you before every meal, breathing consciously before reacting, holding hands not out of habit, but awareness. Each small act becomes an anchor for divine energy. Each ordinary day becomes holy ground, because union energy only remains alive when it's lived. 10. The legacy of light. Eventually, you realize that this journey was never about reaching a finish line. It was about leaving a frequency behind. Every twin flame pair that reunites leaves an energetic imprint on Earth, an invisible lighthouse for others still walking through their own dark nights. Each act of forgiveness, each surrender, each healed reunion contributes to humanity's awakening. You become part of a chain of light stretching across time. And that's the miracle of union. It doesn't just change your life. It changes the collective vibration of love itself. You came together not just to find joy, but to teach the world what love truly means. To show that love is not possession, not perfection but presence, not drama but devotion, not an ending but an ever-expanding beginning. The infinite beginning. So when you reach reunion, don't close the book. Open it wider. Because every sunrise after union is a new chapter of creation. Every breath is another opportunity to embody love more deeply. Every heartbeat echoes with the truth that union is not the destination. It's the dawn of everything that was waiting to be born through you. Part 6. The transformation of both energies. When the masculine and feminine finally dance in harmony, there comes a time in the twin flame journey when love no longer feels like a storm, but like the ocean, vast, deep, and calm beneath its surface. That's the moment when the divine masculine and divine feminine energies finally dance in harmony. Not two forces colliding, not two halves struggling to merge, but two complete energies orbiting each other in perfect rhythm, each powerful in its own right, each surrendering to the sacred flow that makes them one. This is the alchemy of divine balance. The moment when love evolves from healing to creating. 1. The long journey to balance. Before this harmony there was imbalance, cycles of chasing and running, longing and retreating. It wasn't because either soul was broken, but because both were learning polarity. The divine feminine once carried the wound of abandonment, believing love must be earned, proven, or waited for. The divine masculine carried the wound of unworthiness, believing love was a battlefield to be won or lost. So she reached while he withdrew. She felt too much while he suppressed too much. Both were mirrors reflecting the same pain. Fear of love's power. And the universe allowed those roles to play out until both energies were ready to surrender their illusions. Because the dance of the twin flame is not about control. It's about remembering that love is movement itself. 2. The divine feminine's transformation. When the feminine awakens, she remembers her softness is not weakness, it's wisdom. She stops reaching for the masculine to fill her emptiness and begins to fill her own cup with presence. She stops demanding to be seen and instead shines so brightly that the world can't help but notice. Her power is not in chasing but in receiving. The healed feminine moves like water, fluid, adaptable, yet unstoppable. She knows when to flow and when to be still. She doesn't speak to convince, she speaks to remind. And her reminder to the world, and to her divine counterpart, is this: love does not come from outside. It rises from within. In this vibration, she becomes the mirror of truth, not the echo of pain. Her energy awakens the masculine not through demand, but through resonance. Because the feminine's highest power is not persuasion, it's presence. 3. The divine masculine's transformation. When the masculine awakens, he remembers that strength is not dominance, it's devotion. He stops running from his feelings and begins to honor them as sacred. He stops trying to fix love and instead learns to feel love. His armor falls away, not because he's weak, but because he's finally safe. Safe to express, to nurture, to protect from a place of compassion instead of fear. He realizes that vulnerability is not surrendering power. It's the doorway to divine connection. For the first time, he feels what it means to lead not from ego, but from heart. And in that awakening, his purpose crystallizes. He becomes the grounding force, the pillar that holds the light the feminine radiates. Not above her, not beneath her, but beside her. Together, they no longer operate as opposites. They become the yin and yang of divine creation. 4. When energy begins to flow freely. When both energies have healed, love stops being a tug of war. It becomes a current. You can feel it, like an invisible river flowing between two souls. There's no more resistance, no more imbalance. Energy flows both ways, infinitely replenishing itself. The masculine offers stability. The feminine offers inspiration. The masculine brings action. The feminine brings intuition. The masculine protects the container. The feminine fills it with light. It's not hierarchy, it's harmony. It's not dependency, it's divinity. And in that flow, both discover the same truth. Love is not give or take. Love is give and receive. 5. The sacred dance of polarity. When energies are balanced, the relationship becomes a dance of polarity, not opposition. Polarity is the magnetic force that keeps love alive. It's the spark that allows both energies to move and grow. Like the moon and the tide, they respond to each other's rhythm. When one expands, the other grounds. When one dreams, the other builds. When one feels, the other acts. It's a partnership where both are free yet deeply intertwined. They no longer fear losing each other because they've realized that true connection can't be lost. The dance continues even in silence, even across lifetimes, because polarity is not conflict, it's creation. 6. The masculine anchors the light. In union, the healed masculine becomes the anchor of divine light. He carries the energy of protection, not of territory, but of purpose. He provides the structure that allows love to take form in the world. Through his grounded presence, the abstract becomes tangible. Dreams turn into action, inspiration into manifestation. He stands tall, not in dominance but in dedication. Every step he takes becomes an offering of stability to the feminine's flow. He becomes the sacred container, the steady mountain to her ocean, not to confine her, but to give her a place to pour her endless beauty. And in doing so, he finds his peace, not in control but in service. 7. The feminine awakens creation. The healed feminine in turn becomes the creative pulse of divine love. She channels beauty, wisdom, and compassion into everything she touches. Her intuition becomes sharp, her expression effortless. She no longer doubts her worth or dims her light to be accepted. Instead, she radiates truth so powerfully that she transforms every space she enters. Her energy uplifts. Her love inspires. Her stillness heals. She doesn't seek the masculine's approval. She honors his essence and meets him in wholeness. Together they build from love, not from lack. She teaches the world that creation is not control. It's communion. 8. The alchemy of the heart. When the divine masculine and feminine unite, something miraculous happens. A third energy is born, the energy of creation. This is not the birth of a child or a project, though it can take those forms. It's the birth of a shared vibration, an energy field so luminous that it radiates far beyond the two individuals. It's the energetic signature of the divine union frequency. This field heals, uplifts, and expands everything it touches. It acts as a lighthouse for others walking their own path of awakening. Because when love truly harmonizes, it doesn't just transform the lovers, transforms the world around them. That's why true twin flame union is never just personal, it's planetary. 9. Challenges within harmony. Even in balance, the dance continues. Harmony doesn't mean stagnation. It means movement with awareness. There will still be moments when the feminine feels deeply and the masculine grows silent. Moments when the masculine takes charge and the feminine must surrender her need to control. But the difference now is consciousness. Instead of reacting, they respond. Instead of blaming, they breathe. Instead of retreating, they reach for understanding. Because both have learned that love is not the absence of conflict. It's the presence of awareness. Within it, they use differences as doorways, not walls. And through that awareness, they keep ascending together. 10. The divine blueprint in motion. When the masculine and feminine finally dance in harmony, they become walking embodiments of divine truth. Their connection ceases to be just a relationship. It becomes a living teaching. Every glance, every touch, every shared silence carries the vibration of unity. They show others that love doesn't demand sameness. It celebrates polarity. That power and softness can coexist. That independence and union can thrive side by side. They become proof that heaven isn't a place. It's a frequency found between two hearts that have remembered who they are. And as they move through the world, whether together or apart in physical form, their energy continues the dance. Because true union isn't about proximity, it's about resonance. The divine masculine and feminine don't just love each other. They become love itself. A whisper from the heart of creation. If you listen closely, you can feel this truth vibrating through the universe. When the masculine and feminine meet in wholeness, creation itself celebrates. Every sunrise, every song, every heartbeat is an echo of that cosmic reunion. Because at the highest level, we are all the dance of these two energies, the pulse of doing and being, giving and receiving, holding and flowing. And when we bring those energies into harmony within ourselves, we don't just find love. We become the very essence of it. Part 7. How to sustain the frequency of union. Living in high vibration every day. Union is not something you arrive at. It's something you maintain. It's a living frequency that must be tended to like a flame that glows, quietly feeding on awareness, gratitude, and love. Many people believe reunion is the finish line. But in truth, it's the beginning of a lifelong practice. A dance of energy that requires devotion, presence, and daily nurturing. Because once two souls merge at a higher frequency, the real question becomes, how do you stay there? How do you hold love so sacredly that the world cannot shake it? 1. The art of energetic maintenance. Energy is alive, it breathes, it shifts, it responds. Just as your body needs rest and nourishment, your energy needs balance and renewal. In union, both souls must learn to maintain their individual vibration while nourishing the shared field between them. If one falls out of balance, the other feels it instantly, because the connection is no longer emotional, it's energetic. So, you begin to live consciously. You protect your peace the way you once protected your heart. You choose what you consume, music, media, conversations, because everything carries a frequency. You learn to ask, does this expand my energy or drain it? Sustaining union begins with honoring vibration. It's not a spiritual habit, it's a lifestyle. 2. The power of presence. Presence is the most powerful medicine in the universe. When you are present, you stop feeding the ghosts of the past and the projections of the future. You stop reacting from memory and start responding from awareness. And awareness is what keeps energy pure. In union, presence means meeting each moment with open eyes and open heart. It means listening not to respond, but to understand. It means looking at your partner and seeing the soul behind the story, the light behind the layers. Because even in union, ego can whisper, can tempt you to slip into patterns, defensiveness, doubt, fear of loss. But presence dissolves illusion before it becomes conflict. When you breathe consciously with your partner, when you hold silence instead of rushing to fill it, when you witness rather than judge, you are sustaining the vibration of union. Presence turns love from emotion into embodiment. 3. Individual wholeness, shared harmony. The secret to lasting union is paradoxical. To stay united, you must stay whole. Codependence lowers frequency. Wholeness sustains it. Union is not two halves completing each other. It's two wholes expanding together. So even after reunion, both must continue their individual evolution. Spend time apart to recharge. Follow your passions. Nurture your inner child. Meditate, create, connect with your own essence. Because the stronger your personal alignment, the stronger your shared field becomes. When you both thrive individually, love doesn't shrink from freedom. It grows through it. This is how divine partnerships last. Not by clinging, but by continuously returning to the self that first magnetized the connection. 4. Protecting the sacred space. Your connection is sacred. Energy and sacred things require protection. That doesn't mean isolation. It means discernment. Not everyone can understand divine union. Not everyone can hold the vibration of it. Sometimes, the more you share, the more interference you invite, energetic or emotional. So protect the space where your souls meet. Protect the peace that took lifetimes to build. You don't need to justify your connection, prove your bond, or seek validation. Your love is not a performance, it's a prayer. Keep your sacred rituals private if needed. Meditate together, speak affirmations, cleanse your energy through nature or sound. Do what keeps your field clear. Because energy, once stabilized, must be guarded with gratitude. 5. The practice of gratitude. Gratitude is the glue that holds the frequency of love together. When you are thankful, you amplify abundance. When you complain, you amplify lack. In union, gratitude keeps both hearts in alignment. It reminds you that love is a privilege, not an entitlement. Say thank you often. Not just for grand gestures, but for the simple ones. The morning smile, the hand that reaches out, the presence that says, I'm here. Gratitude turns daily moments into sacred ceremonies. It rewires the nervous system to recognize love as safety. And when the nervous system is at peace, energy flows effortlessly between you. That flow, that gentle current of peace, is the essence of sustained union. 6. The role of compassion and non-attachment. Even after reunion, both souls continue to evolve, and evolution means change. Change in desires, habits, perspectives. So compassion becomes the heartbeat of union. Compassion says, I see you as you are, and I love you through every version of you. But compassion doesn't mean attachment. It means allowing love to breathe. It means giving your partner space to grow without fear of losing them. True union doesn't bind, it liberates. Because love rooted in control suffocates. Love rooted in trust expands. So practice loving without gripping, understanding without assuming, holding without possessing. That's how love remains alive. It flows, not freezes. 7. The importance of inner cleansing. To sustain high vibration, you must constantly cleanse the channels through which energy flows, body, mind, and spirit. Unresolved emotions, unspoken words, unacknowledged fears, all create energetic residue. If left unchecked, they distort the purity of your shared field. So make inner cleansing a ritual. Journal daily to release thoughts that no longer serve. Meditate to reset your frequency. Move your body, dance, stretch, breathe to keep energy circulating. Use sound healing, prayer, or nature walks to clear energetic buildup. Union doesn't thrive on perfection. It thrives on clarity. And clarity comes from consistent purification. The cleaner your channel, the stronger your connection. 8. The expansion through service. Love that stays only between two people eventually stagnates. Love that flows outward heals. To sustain union, direct its energy toward service. It doesn't need to be grand. Even small acts ripple powerfully. When you use your shared vibration to uplift others, to create beauty, spread kindness, or bring light into dark spaces, your connection grows stronger because energy expands through giving. This is the collective mission many twin souls feel after reunion, to channel their harmony into something that benefits the world. Art, healing, teaching, writing, whatever form it takes, it becomes a vessel of divine love. When you serve together, love becomes infinite. 9. The balance between spirit and matter. To sustain high vibration, both must master the art of grounding. You can't stay in the clouds forever. You must bring heaven to earth. That means balancing the mystical with the practical. Pay attention to physical health, finances, daily responsibilities. Love that is spiritual but not grounded will eventually drift. So live your spirituality through embodied action. Eat consciously. Rest deeply. Speak truthfully. Honor commitments. Every act done with mindfulness becomes sacred. That's how divine energy stays integrated in ordinary living. Union energy is divine, but it's meant to be lived through human hands. 10. The daily recommitment to love. Finally, the greatest secret of sustaining union. You choose it every single day. Love is not a static state. It's a living decision. There will be moments of distance, moments of silence, moments of misunderstanding. But every time you return with awareness, compassion, and truth, you renew the energy of union. Wholeness doesn't mean never falling, it means rising together every time you do. So when fear creeps in, choose trust. When ego whispers, choose humility. When doubt arises, choose love again and again. Because the vibration of union is not built once, it's built daily. And each day you choose love consciously, you send a ripple of healing through every timeline your souls have ever lived. That's the power of sustained union. It doesn't just change your relationship, it changes reality itself. The whisper beyond the flame. The longer you live in the frequency of union, the more you realize it was never just about two people. It was about consciousness remembering itself as love. It was about energy returning to balance. It was about the universe experiencing its own reflection through your eyes. Sustaining union isn't work. It's worship. It's waking up every day and saying, "Thank you for letting me be a vessel of love today." Because in the end, true mastery is not holding on to union, it's becoming it. Part 8. The deepest lesson of union. Love as a path of evolution. There is a moment, sometime after the glow of reunion, when love stops being a destination and becomes a mirror. Not a mirror reflecting your face or your fears, but one that reflects your divinity. This is when union transforms from something you have into something you are. Because the deepest truth of reunion is this: love was never meant to make you comfortable. Love was meant to make you conscious. 1. The shift from love as emotion to love as evolution. When you first enter union, feels blissful. The energy is radiant, the connection electric, the peace almost surreal. But as time passes, something profound unfolds. Love begins to show you what still needs healing. Not because something's wrong, but because the purpose of divine union is evolution. Love stops being an emotional high and starts being a spiritual teacher. Every moment together becomes a lesson. How deeply can you listen without judgment? How open can your heart remain when old fears reappear? How willing are you to love, even when it's uncomfortable? This is the next stage of union, where love moves beyond romance, beyond comfort, into the sacred art of growth. 2. Love as the mirror of consciousness. Your twin flame is not here to complete you. They're here to reveal you. Every aspect of your being, light and shadow, strength and insecurity, finds reflection in them. When they speak truth, your ego may tremble. When they withdraw, your inner child may ache. When they open, your soul may expand beyond recognition. Each reaction, each emotion is a reflection of your consciousness evolving. This is not punishment. It's purification. Because the soul doesn't seek pleasure, it seeks truth. And the truth is that divine love reveals everything you've hidden from yourself. It shows you where you still grasp, where you still fear, where you still forget that love was never outside of you. So union becomes the sacred mirror of awakening. Not always gentle, but always true. 3. The evolutionary fire. Many describe twin flame love as intense, and it is. But that intensity is not chaos. It's transformation. When two high-frequency souls merge, their energy creates a fire strong enough to burn through illusion. That fire purifies everything. The old stories, the self-doubt, the illusions of separation. And sometimes it hurts, because growth always does. But within that burning, something extraordinary happens. A higher version of you begins to emerge. The parts of you that once feared rejection now crave authenticity. The parts that once demanded control now crave surrender. The parts that once resisted vulnerability now see it as sacred. Love becomes your initiator. It pushes you toward evolution whether you're ready or not. 4. The spiral of growth. Evolution in union doesn't happen in a straight line, it happens in spirals. You revisit lessons again and again, but each time from a higher perspective. One day you think, I've healed my abandonment. Then something triggers it again, but this time, you respond differently. You breathe. You witness. You choose love instead of fear. That's growth. Because mastery isn't about never falling. It's about rising consciously. Union teaches you this. Cyclical rhythm. You'll expand, contract, and expand again. But each spiral takes you closer to divine embodiment. This is how love turns into evolution. It keeps stretching your soul until there's nothing left but truth. 5. The unfolding of the divine masculine and feminine. As both energies evolve, they enter new expressions of wholeness. The divine masculine, once bound by logic and control, becomes pure awareness. He learns to act from inspiration, not obligation. To protect love, not possess it. The divine feminine, once caught in emotion and overgiving, becomes wisdom itself. She learns to receive without guilt, to feel without drowning, to trust without fear. Together, they create a dynamic balance where each supports the other's evolution. The masculine grounds her expansion. The feminine inspires his awakening. He becomes the steady flame. She becomes the breath that keeps it alive. This dance of evolution is endless. Because divine love doesn't reach a limit. It multiplies itself. 6. The inner union that mirrors the outer. At this stage, you begin to realize something profound. The real union was never between two people, it was within you all along. Your twin simply mirrored what already existed in your soul. The integration of masculine and feminine energies within your own being. When you feel whole inside, the outer relationship stabilizes. Naturally, there's no need for constant reassurance or external validation. You understand that even if physical separation happens again, energetic union remains. Because what was unified within can never truly divide. You stop fearing loss because you know, love can't be lost, it only changes form. This realization is the hallmark of spiritual maturity. You no longer cling to love, you become love. 7. The expansion of love beyond the self. As love evolves, it expands beyond the personal. You start seeing divine connection everywhere. In friends, strangers, nature, and silence itself. Your compassion deepens. You begin to love not because of who someone is to you, but because of who you are within love. You realize that every soul is your mirror in some way, and that the essence of union is universal oneness. This is where twin flame love completes its sacred purpose. It trains the heart to love everything. When you love one being unconditionally, you unlock the capacity to love all beings unconditionally. And that's the point of evolution, to turn personal love into cosmic love. 8. The challenge of sustained awareness. Of course, evolution isn't constant bliss. As consciousness expands, so does awareness of collective pain. You may feel waves of empathy, fatigue, or emotional sensitivity. But that too is love teaching you. Because the awakened heart feels everything, not to suffer but to understand. It feels the sorrow of humanity, not to drown in it, but to hold it with light. So, part of sustaining union energy is learning boundaries rooted in compassion. To feel deeply but not absorb. To help but not lose yourself in the helping. Love is infinite but human energy is not. Balancing both is the key to staying in flow. This awareness transforms you from a lover into a lightworker. Your relationship becomes an instrument for the healing of many. 9. The wisdom of surrender. Perhaps the greatest lesson of love as evolution is surrender. Not surrender as defeat, but as divine trust. You learn that you can't force growth. You can't rush awakening. You can only open to it. There will be moments when love feels distant, when the connection seems quiet, when the universe asks you to let go again. But every time you surrender, your soul expands. Because surrender isn't giving up, it's giving over. Saying, I trust this love to lead me where I'm meant to go, even if I can't see the path. And that trust, the ability to walk in the dark with faith in your own light, is the final form of love's evolution. 10. Love as the ultimate teacher. When you look back at everything, the chaos, the silence, the longing, the miracles, you begin to understand. Every stage was love teaching you how to remember yourself. Love taught you patience when nothing made sense. Love taught you surrender when you lost control. Love taught you forgiveness when your heart wanted revenge. Love taught you compassion when pain became unbearable. And in the end, love taught you what it means to be divine in human form. That's why this journey was never about finding your other half. It was about becoming whole. Union was never the goal. It was the mirror showing you who you've always been. Because the greatest evolution of love is not meeting another. It's meeting God through love. And in that recognition, the journey stops being about reunion at all. It becomes a prayer in motion. You are no longer chasing love. You are living as love, the eternal flame. So, when you ask what love really teaches, it teaches you to burn and still stay whole, to feel everything and still remain kind, to lose everything and still remain open. That's evolution. That's consciousness. That's the purpose of union. Because when love transforms you from seeker to embodiment, from half to whole, from lover to light, you don't just evolve, you illuminate. Part 9. The ripple effect. How your union heals the collective. When two souls unite in divine harmony, it may seem like a personal victory, the ending of a love story written across lifetimes. But from the universe's perspective, it is something far greater. Every reunion sends ripples through the fabric of creation. Every act of unconditional love releases ancient fear from the collective field. Every healed heart becomes a beacon that helps countless others remember their own light. Because when you heal, the world heals through you. And that, beloved soul, is the hidden purpose of your union. 1. The law of resonance and the web of light. Everything in existence is vibration. Thoughts, emotions, and intentions are not invisible. They are frequencies that travel through the collective field. Imagine humanity as a vast web of interconnected threads. Every soul, every heart, every thought, woven together. When one thread vibrates with love, the resonance moves outward, touching every other strand. So when two twin flames reunite, their frequency doesn't stay contained. It radiates. The harmony of their union becomes a note of divine music within the symphony of humanity. Their balance of masculine and feminine energy recalibrates the grid of consciousness itself. It teaches the collective energetically that love can exist without fear, control, or separation. 2. Healing the ancestral lineage. Before you reunited, you carried not only your own wounds but those of your ancestors. Patterns of abandonment, repression, scarcity, and shame ran through your DNA like echoes from forgotten centuries. Your journey through darkness wasn't random. It was chosen. Because your soul volunteered to end the cycles that your lineage could not. When you learned to love without attachment, you freed generations who couldn't. When you forgave those who hurt you, you dissolved karma that had bound your family for lifetimes. When you stepped into truth instead of fear, you changed the story written in your blood. And now, as you stand in union, your ancestors watch with awe. Through your love, they too find release. Through your peace, they too find rest. Because healing isn't linear, it's cellular. When your frequency rises, it travels backward and forward through time, touching every soul connected to your lineage. You are the bridge between what was and what can be. 3. The transmutation of collective pain. Humanity carries wounds as old as existence. Fear of rejection, loss, powerlessness. Every person you meet, every conflict in the world, is an expression of these collective shadows. When twin flames reunite, they become natural transmuters of this energy. They feel collective pain, not as burden but as invitation. Their union acts like an alchemical vessel, a sacred container where dense energy meets unconditional love and transforms. This is why many twin flames experience waves of collective sadness or exhaustion after union. They are not regressing. They are purifying the field. It's not something they do consciously. It happens through resonance. Their bodies, hearts, and energy systems become instruments through which the world learns to breathe again. In their laughter, tension dissolves. In their forgiveness, separation softens. In their presence, others feel safe to open. That is collective healing in motion. 4. The quantum field of union. In the language of energy, time and space are illusions. When you and your divine counterpart hold the frequency of love, you create a quantum field, a vibrational space that transcends distance. Within that field, others unconsciously tune in. They might feel calmer, more inspired, more at peace without knowing why. Because your frequency acts as a tuning fork for the planet's heart. Every moment you stay in balance, every time you choose compassion over judgment, presence over reaction, you recalibrate the field for everyone else. This is the secret of ascension work. You don't need to preach to change the world. You just need to become the vibration you wish to see. Amplified. Union energy, when stabilized, anchors the template of New Earth love. A love that is cooperative, conscious, and creative. 5. The masculine and feminine as planetary archetypes. The union of the divine masculine and feminine doesn't just heal personal relationships. It heals the world's imbalance. For centuries, the collective masculine has been wounded, driven by domination, disconnected from feeling. The collective feminine has been suppressed, silenced, mistrusted, shamed for her sensitivity. When twin souls heal these energies within themselves, they project that healing into the collective. Every time the masculine chooses empathy over control, he heals patriarchal distortions across timelines. Every time the feminine chooses self-trust over sacrifice, she restores the archetype of divine power and wisdom. Together, their harmony becomes the blueprint for balanced creation. It teaches humanity that strength and softness are not opposites, they are allies. That love doesn't conquer, it harmonizes. That power doesn't dominate, it serves. This balanced template will be the foundation of the next stage of human evolution. 6. The ripple in human relationships. Once your frequency stabilizes, the people around you begin to shift. Friends, family, colleagues, some will awaken, others may fall away. Don't mourn what leaves. Your vibration is recalibrating your environment. Only those ready for resonance will remain. But those who stay will notice something different. They will feel more peaceful in your presence. They will find themselves speaking more kindly, forgiving more easily, because your energy invites them to rise. You become a living transmission of love. And slowly, quietly, the world changes. Not through revolution, but through resonance. 7. The healing of the earth. The ripple doesn't stop with humans. It touches the planet itself. Every thought of gratitude sends nourishment into the earth's energetic grid. Every act of mindful presence restores harmony in nature's frequency. When twin flames come into balance, their energy field creates a vortex of coherence that grounds divine light into the earth's crystalline core. This light strengthens ley lines, balances electromagnetic grids, and aids planetary ascension. Sounds mystical, but you can feel it. When you walk together in nature, animals respond differently. The air feels clearer. The ground hums softly beneath your feet. Because love is the most natural vibration of all, it belongs to the earth. And when love awakens in human hearts, Gaia herself heals through it. 8. The responsibility of awareness. With this power comes responsibility. The more light you carry, the more awareness is required to maintain purity. Your thoughts are no longer private, they echo through the field. Your words carry creation codes. Your emotions influence collective balance. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to remind you of your significance. Each choice, kindness or criticism, gratitude or judgment, creates ripples. And when you choose love consciously, those ripples become waves that touch millions. You are not small. You are a node of light in the network of creation. And your union is a temple through which divine will expresses itself. So walk gently. Speak truthfully. Love deliberately. That's how you honor the responsibility of your reunion. 9. The expansion into collective mission. As the energy stabilizes, you and your twin may feel a call, a magnetic pull toward a shared purpose. It might be creating art that inspires hearts, teaching spiritual truths, helping children, protecting nature, or building conscious communities. Whatever form it takes, your mission is the expression of your shared soul. It's how your love contributes to the evolution of humanity. Mission energy isn't about fame or followers, it's about frequency. It's the act of turning personal healing into collective service. Because the highest form of love is not romance, it's contribution. 10. The world that your love creates. Close your eyes and imagine this. A world where every soul remembers they are not separate. Where every relationship is rooted in respect and awareness. Where love is not possession but presence. Where strength and tenderness walk hand in hand. That world is not fantasy. It's the world your union is helping to birth right now. Each time you choose patience over reaction, forgiveness over blame, truth over comfort, you are laying the energetic bricks of a new earth. You may never see the full impact of your vibration, but the universe does. The angels record every heartbeat of compassion, every act of grace. Because love is never wasted energy, it always returns amplified. Your union is a seed in the garden of humanity. And from that seed, generations will bloom. A whisper for the healers of light. So if you ever doubt your path, if you ever wonder why it had to be so hard, remember this. You weren't just healing for you. You were healing for all. Your tears cleansed ancient rivers. Your forgiveness rewrote old histories. Your reunion restored the frequency of divine love on earth. That is your legacy. That is your ripple. And though the world may not yet fully understand your light, the universe bows in gratitude. For you have remembered the truth that sets all beings free. Love, once awakened, can never be contained. It expands, heals, and recreates the world in its own image. Part 10. Eternal message of union. Becoming love itself. There comes a point in the journey when the questions fall silent. When the searching ends and the story you've carried for lifetimes finds its final breath. No more waiting. No more running. No more longing for something that's already within you. This is not the end of your twin flame journey. It is the beginning of your beingness. Because the ultimate message of union is simple, yet infinite. You are love itself. 1. The dissolving of the story. Once upon a time, you believed union was between two people. You believed it was about finding someone, holding someone, keeping someone. But as the light of consciousness deepens, that illusion fades like dawn dissolving night. The story collapses not in tragedy, but in transcendence. You realize that all along it was never about two souls trying to meet. It was love meeting itself through two mirrors. Every stage, separation, awakening, surrender, reunion was never about getting closer to someone else. It was about getting closer to the truth that there is no someone else. There is only one love expressing itself through infinite forms. The twin flame was not your destination. They were your reflection. A divine spark the universe used to help you remember who you are. And when you remember, the story becomes still. Because the storyteller has awakened from the dream. 2. When the two become the one. At the highest vibration, union transcends duality. It is no longer me and you, but I am. The boundaries of self begin to blur. You no longer feel where your love ends and the other's begins. Your thoughts intertwine, your energy flows seamlessly, your hearts beat in mirrored rhythm. But beyond even that, you start to see the same divine essence in everyone. Your twin becomes the window through which you perceive the sacredness of all beings. You recognize the divine masculine in every act of courage, the divine feminine in every act of compassion. You see the face of your beloved in strangers, in the wind, in the stars, in your own reflection. Because when love reaches its purest form, it stops being personal. It becomes presence. And presence is God breathing through you. 3. The end of searching. The human heart spends lifetimes searching for meaning, for connection, for belonging. But union teaches you that what you were searching for was never outside. All the chasing, all the waiting, all the tears were rivers leading you back home to yourself. You finally understand that longing was love's way of calling you inward. Every ache was a door. Every silence was an invitation. And when you stepped through them all, you found what was always waiting. The infinite stillness of your own soul. You stop asking, when will I be loved? Because now you know. You are love expressed as human form. The journey was never about finding love. It was about becoming the awareness that nothing exists apart from it. 4. Living as love. So what does it mean to live as love? It doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean constant bliss. It means awareness. It means waking each morning and allowing love to live through you. In how you speak, how you touch, how you forgive, how you breathe. It means seeing God in every pair of eyes you meet. It means letting go of the need to be right and choosing to be kind. It means understanding that love doesn't fix, it frees. When you live as love, you become the bridge between heaven and earth. Your presence heals simply by existing. You stop trying to change the world and instead become the vibration that changes it effortlessly. Love becomes your nature, not your pursuit. Your stillness becomes your service. Your compassion becomes your power. 5. The divine ordinary. After the ecstasy of union, life continues but differently. The sacred weaves itself through the mundane. You find God in small things. In the morning sunlight spilling across the bed. In the laughter that echoes through a quiet room. In the touch of your beloved's hand that feels like home and infinity at once. You no longer separate the spiritual from the practical. Washing dishes, watering plants, walking barefoot on earth. All become acts of devotion. Because when love is your essence, every gesture is worship. You realize that divinity was never found in temples or rituals. It was always in the living, breathing moment. This is the final revelation of union. Life itself is holy. 6. The integration of light. Living as love also means integrating all that you've learned. The pain, the lessons, the shadows, the light. You don't reject your past anymore. You embrace it. You don't run from darkness. You illuminate it. You don't deny your humanity. You sanctify it. Because love is not the absence of shadow. It is the light that makes shadow visible. You understand now that every heartbreak, every loss, every ending was never against you. It was love in disguise, sculpting your soul into the vessel it was always meant to be. So you bow to every version of yourself that brought you here. The seeker, the doubter, the believer, the one who almost gave up. You forgive them all because you finally see they were all love trying to remember itself. 7. The merging with the infinite. As your awareness expands, you begin to sense the vastness of your being. You are no longer confined by body or name. You feel yourself as consciousness, limitless, timeless, formless. You become aware of energy moving through you like waves of golden light. You feel the pulse of stars in your veins, the heartbeat of the universe in your chest. This is the mystical stage where the soul recognizes itself as the divine source. You realize, I was never separate from God. I was never separate from love. I was the universe remembering itself. Through this story, in that realization, fear dissolves completely. Death loses meaning. Only eternity remains. Union becomes not something you have, but something you are eternally becoming. 8. The service of the awakened heart. Once you've become love, service arises naturally. Not as duty but as joy. You don't serve because you should. You serve because love cannot not give. You share your peace through your presence. You radiate healing without effort. Your very existence becomes a sanctuary for others to remember themselves. The awakened heart doesn't seek followers, it awakens hearts. It doesn't try to teach, it embodies truth. It doesn't seek recognition, it simply shines. This is how love sustains creation, through hearts that remember what they are. You become a lighthouse not by trying to be bright, but by removing everything that once covered your light. 9. The silence beyond words. Eventually, even teachings dissolve. Even concepts like union, twin flame, ascension become too small to contain what you've become. Because truth cannot be named, it can only be experienced. There comes a silence so profound it feels like eternity. Humming. In that silence you feel the heartbeat of existence, the same rhythm that began the universe. No words, no labels, just awareness breathing. And you understand this was what you were always seeking. Not a person, not a story, not even enlightenment. Just this stillness, this knowing, this infinite love that needs no reason. It's what you were before you were born, what you will be after you die, and what you've been even now behind every breath. 10. Becoming love itself. And so the journey comes full circle. From seeking to surrender, from longing to liberation, from two hearts yearning to one heart beating across the cosmos. You no longer chase union. You are the energy of union. You no longer look for love. You are the vibration of love. You no longer pray for peace. You are the embodiment of peace. The flame that once burned with desire now glows with eternal grace. It neither consumes nor fades, it simply illuminates. You understand now why the universe brought you through every storm. To show you that love is not found in another, but in the divine spark that has always lived within you. That spark was the beginning, and it will never end. A whisper from eternity. So if you're listening to these words now, and your soul feels a quiet recognition, know this, you are not on the journey of finding love. You are on the journey of remembering that you are love. The twin flame, the reunion, the ascension. They were all chapters in a greater truth, that everything, every experience, every breath, is God, learning how to love itself through you. And the moment you finally realize that, you are free. Because the ultimate message of union is not about coming together. It's about becoming everything that love is, and letting the world remember through your light.